It's important to keep at it no matter what. Oftentimes in the men's group that I'm in, it's a self-development group where we share and support each other. We often have time for appreciation, for gratitude. And if we feel called, we may share something that we recognize in another man of something that they're doing well. And it led me to think that oftentimes in life, we are so focused and we can notice other people's successes. We look at people's Instagram pages, their social media channels, and we see all these shiny objects. We see all the perfect life that other people are living. And we tend not to notice ourselves other than the negative stuff. We can see the things we do wrong. And so I felt like maybe it's a good opportunity for us to just take a moment and actually think of something about ourselves that we truly appreciate, that we're truly grateful for. And while we're on this concept, I'd love for you to let me know below in the comments, what's the thing about yourself that you can be really proud of, that you love about yourself? If you feel like sharing, just leave a comment below. And the thing that came up for me was tenacity and persistence. And that gave me an idea to create this video of this idea of never giving up, because so many people do that. Now, Napoleon Hill in his famous book, Think and Grow Rich, has an entire chapter dedicated to persistence. And Napoleon Hill says in that book, without persistence, you will be defeated before you even start. With persistence, you will win. And there are so many people that go through their lives where they've been influenced from their upbringing. Maybe they had a bad childhood, maybe their time in school wasn't so good, or they have all of these experiences which create the belief patterns, the programming, and the paradigms. And then people stay in this limited version of who they think they're capable of being. But it doesn't have to be that way. And your current situation, your past failures don't have to define you. You can look at many of the leaders and successful people that have had difficult backgrounds that have then created something amazing in their life. If you look at some of the famous business people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they've both had their business challenges in the past. In fact, Steve Jobs was actually fired from his own company before later going back there. And I think it's famously shared that J.K. Rowling was rejected multiple times for her Harry Potter books. And the famous Hollywood actor Jim Carrey shared about how he used to be homeless. And then there's people like Oprah Winfrey that had her challenging times growing up. And you can find thousands and thousands more of these types of stories from people that have overcome their challenges, where they didn't let their situation, they didn't let their past experiences dictate the way they think, feel, and act, and ultimately they were able to change the results in their life. Now, I think one of the key factors in this is if we look at our early school years, when we start to create our identities, we start to fit into certain friend groups, we start to achieve certain levels of success or certain levels of failure based on, are we an A student, are we a C student, are we a wherever else in between student? And these start to impact our identity and how we see ourselves, and we find our place in the world. And this really just creates a limitation. If you want to learn more about identity shifting, I created that in my last video, which I highly recommend you check that one out. Now, from my own personal experience of going to school, I was someone that struggled a lot. I was average at best. I didn't really enjoy school. There was many challenges I had. And all I cared about was having a good time with my friends. It was socializing, it was doing sports, and it was not doing my homework. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't interested in it. But anyway, I got through school, I went to college, and I went along with the flow. And then eventually I went to university and studied for a 3-year bachelor's degree. But I only went there because it felt like the natural next step for me, and it's not actually something that I wanted to do. But fortunately, here's the thing that changed everything for me. And this is where maybe you can relate to this. So the first 2 years of my university, they didn't actually count towards my final grade. So I was just kind of coasting along, because at the time I was just into partying, I was into playing in my band, and I really didn't think too much about my future, because honestly, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I just wasn't thinking like that. I was too young, and it just wasn't the time for me to do so. But it was after the second year in the summer where I decided, you know what? I've made it 2 years now. I've got 1 year left. And if I really put in the effort, if I really change my mindset and put my head down, maybe I can create a different set of results than I've been used to getting in my life. And that's exactly what happened. I decided that I put my mind to something and I completely changed my outcome. And I actually did really well in the end. And I think I surprised a lot of people, including myself. But what that taught me is my past experiences, my current situation, wherever I'm at, it doesn't determine my future results. Any moment, any day you wake up, you can change your life. If you surround yourself with the right people, you switch your mindset and you change your attitude. Attitude is a big thing that Earl Nightingale used to talk about. At the end of the day, this is all about perception and how you see things and how you choose to see things. Good things happen and bad things happen. How we view it, how we see it, how we believe it, how we act on it is going to determine how we feel and how we act, and then it's going to show up in the results. So we always have a choice to choose a different perspective and look through a different lens. You may have heard of Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, which was based on the horrific experience in a concentration camp. And in that book, one of the key powerful things that comes out of it is a quote which Viktor Frankl shared, and it's, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms. To choose one's attitude in any given circumstances, to choose one's own way." Now, I believe this quote is extremely powerful because that's from someone who has experienced the lowest of lows, and they're sharing a story of how they were able to create meaning in their situation by switching their perspective and adjusting their mindset. So if you're going through challenges in life, let's say you keep failing at something and you really feel like giving up, know that you don't have to give up. If it's really meaningful, the thing that you're doing and that you want to do, failure is part of success. That's what happened for Steve Jobs, for Bill Gates, for Jim Carrey, and for all of these other people. Failing is part of success. It's required to achieve success. Without that difference, without that contrast, you're not going to know what success feels like. Life isn't always easy and there's going to be challenging times. I can honestly say that when you decide to make that change inside here, it's a little switch that goes off where you decide you're never going to give up no matter what. You're going to keep moving forwards, and you keep drilling that in time and time again, the repetition, and create that new belief system. It's so, so powerful. And other people can sense it. Other people can feel it. But more importantly, you will start to believe it, and the results in your life will start to change. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you've been. You have the power right now, every day, to show up and to achieve a different life. If you find that your beliefs are something that are really holding you back, then I've created a free belief blueprint that you can download. I'll leave a link below this video, and that's going to help you identify the challenging areas of your life right now, what you need to change, and then create new empowering beliefs to start to get you moving forwards. What I would do when you've done this is to write down these as affirmations. You can then record your own audio affirmation. I even created a tutorial showing you how to do that if you want to watch that one. And then get into the habit of listening to this and reading these every day and start to reprogram the subconscious mind, start to change your beliefs, start to take different actions, and start to show up differently in your life. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.